Good morning, everybody, and we are live. All right. Fill your cups, grab a pen and paper. This is going to be a good one. We're going to talk a little bit about our modern political landscape, how it's changing. Believe me, it's not going to be an eye glazer, I promise you. We're going to get into it. We're going to talk about people that are being paid to be and say who they are. We're going to talk about uh, the way MAGA and Republicans are changing our political landscape for the worse. So, like I said, fill your cups, grab a pen and paper for the roundtable at the end of the show. We're going to have a nice discussion at the end of the show. I want to get your thoughts and where you think we ought to go with this. So let's do it. All right. Well, look, I want to start with a little question, a little back and forth. You are some of the smartest people there is out there. If you're in this audience, it's just been proven over and over and over again. You are above average people. You're professionals. You're people that have had careers. You are people that have had political experience. So I'd love to ask you questions. Okay. You know who I am. I tell you up front who I am. I am a Democratic partisan. I am a hyper partisan. I tell people all the time, I am a hyper partisan. I also tell you who pays me. You pay me, not the Democratic Party. I don't have a billionaire sugar daddy. When I do speaking engagements, I do it for very little money because I don't want to take resources out. I go and I help local parties and whatnot. I don't want to take the resources out of the party and put it in my pocket. I want them spending it on voter outreach. I want them spending it on things. The cost of a hotel is what you can usually get me to do a speaking engagement for, because we're on the same team, and I make that obvious. But when I ask you, what do you think of when I say an institute think tank? What comes to mind for you when I say an institute think tank? Seriously, that is a question for you folks. That's not a just a rhetorical. That is, I literally want to know. When I say an institute think tank, what do you think of? You've heard me talk about. Thanks, Barbara. I appreciate the support. R&D, Rand. Some of y'all will have some of you will have some more negative opinions because we've talked a lot about some of these think tanks. The Manhattan Institute and Heritage and the think tanks they fund, things like that. But for the most part, when you just ask a layperson on the street, what do you think of when I say think tank? Panapup, thanks for the support, man. I appreciate you, brother. You think about, right, exactly, great. Thin is nice as institute, think tank, smart people. You think about people looking at issues. You think about intelligent people. You think about people with alphabets after their name that are looking at problems, that are looking at issues, coming up with solutions. That's what people of my generation were taught to believe. What think tanks are. high-minded people working on issues to come up with real solutions, right? I mean, that's what you think about. So if I showed you, say, this, the Heartland Institute. I mean, what is that? What is that? You know, you see the Heartland Institute there, pretty green leaf on their logo. I mean, first glance, you see this. What do you think? That is a real question to you folks. What do you think? I want to see it in the chat. I mean, it's kind of got like a warm fuzzy, doesn't it? You know, pretty green leaf in the logo. I see a lot of you I have done my work. I'm proud. I've done my work. A lot of you took one look at this and you were immediately wary of what you're looking at because they really want to give you that green image, don't they? Yeah, they are the least green thing you could possibly imagine. They fund anti-climate change rhetoric. They do. Their donors are the Koch brothers, the Charles G. Koch Charitable Foundation. And if you need to know who that is, that's Angel, Soft, Brawny, Sparkle, Soft, Gentle. These are Koch brands. Dixie, Quilted Northern, Stainmaster, Dacron, Cordura. When you like go buy a coat, you see Cordura on it. That's Koch brothers. Mardi Gras, Vanity Fair. On and on and on and on and on and on. These corporations that say we can't tax them because, oh my God, they can't afford taxes. You know, they can afford to send money to these groups, to these institutes that fund think tanks. They're also supported by Microsoft, General Motors, Comcast, Reynolds American, Philip Morris, Amgen, Bayer, GlaxoSmithKline, Pfizer, Eli Lilly, several liquor companies, and a bunch of anonymous members of the billionaire frat boy club. Well, they kind of feel like they have a job to do. They feel like their job is to tell the American people and anybody that will listen that, you know, climate change is a hoax. Climate change isn't the problem that we're saying. It's hell, it may not even be man-made. You know, I mean, they sow doubt. They do everything they can. And on the tail of the hurricane season we just had, it seems rather stupid, doesn't it? Well, it gets stupider. It really does. But these corporations have plenty of money to throw at this. They do. They have plenty of money to throw at this. But they have a problem. Brian Pisha, thanks for the support, man. I appreciate you. You know, I'm open about who funds it. You folks fund me. You folks fund me. That's it. In Waterloo, Ontario, we had the Perimeter Institute, a think tank put together by one of the BlackBerry founders. Pedal to the metal. The finish line is in the sight. Yeah, I use the Heartland Institute as an example, but yeah, Brian Pisha's right. Absolutely. These institutes are freaking everywhere. Every topic that comes up, raw milk, there's an institute out there funding because, you know, they're making some political inroads with the flat earthers and conspiracy people to get them to go out and drink raw milk. Like, you know, old Louis Pasteur, you just had it in, you know, it was all, you know, a conspiracy going all the way back to old Louis Pasteur when he told us to pasteurize our milk so we didn't get diseases. You've got an institute with a think tank funding that propaganda. But they have a problem. And the problem is you're not stupid. And occasionally something happens. Something happens that's just, what's the word I'm looking for? It is just, it just spontaneously springs up and gets momentum. People come along that just get momentum. Case in point, you got Greta Thunberg. You got Greta Thunberg. She is a climate activist, and she got quite a bit of popularity. But I'll be quite honest with you. I like Greta Thunberg. I like what she does. But had they just kind of ignored her, her popularity would not. Her 15 minutes would have been up. It would have. She's not the best messenger. She isn't. But she's doing good work. Don't get me wrong. I am not knocking her. I am not. She's doing good work. She is doing good work. She is. But they freaked out about her. They went totally nuts because they're like, "Oh my God, people are listening to her, and people are not buying our message anymore. That a little bit of diesel fuel in your drinking water is not bad." I mean, people that are on the other side of the climate issue absolutely lost their minds. And the best, I love this. Just to kudos, show you how much I love Greta Thunberg. Just kudos to Greta Thunberg. Y'all may or may not know who Andrew Tate is. You should. He is currently being prosecuted for rape and human trafficking. He's a pimp. But he talks to your kids. He talks to your kids on Snapchat. You see this pizza box right here? It's Jerry's Pizza. See, the police wanted to talk to old Andrew Tate because they wanted to prosecute him, having a little bit of a hard time finding him. But old Andrew Tate here was part of the freak out about, Greta Thunberg, and he decided to make a video attacking Greta Thunberg. And yeah, he had pizza boxes from Jerry's Pizza, which they geolocated. Found out where he was, went to Jerry, said, "Where did you deliver the damn pizzas?" And the rest is history. He's being prosecuted for rape, assault, human trafficking, yada, yada, yada. So kudos to Greta Thunberg for triggering these people. But again, side note. Oh, yeah, I sell mugs too. But, I'm open about all that, right? I mean, I tell you who funds me. Keep that in mind. We're open about this. So when I tell you something, you know where I'm coming from, right? But kudos to Greta Thunberg. Yeah, I mean, that really stretched out her 15 minutes. It really did. Because she took down this guy that was just, and again, I got to warn you, he's on Snapchat, folks. He's all over Snapchat. He is talking to your young grandsons, your young men. Yeah. He has been pushing this misogynistic crap. And he is well-funded. I mean, this guy has, super expensive cars that he's doing videos with. He's living the high life in Romania. He's talking to your kids. He really is. So just be mindful of that. Well, these institutes, the Heartland Institute said, well, we got a Greta Thunberg problem. We've got to change that. In steps Naomi Seidt. And you'll see Naomi Seidt here is actually, doing the rounds here, supporting Donald Trump and Vance. And she is a YouTuber, an influencer, with a massive following. She was banned from YouTube for a while for disinformation, among other things. But she's back, baby. She is back. Her channel, the production quality, everything is just top notch. I mean, she has the best infrastructure. Her clothes are all top notch. She just polished. This kid is glaringly well funded by the Heartland Institute. And she's talking to your kids. and she's talking to your kids. To be the message, they needed somebody young out there because they like to insult young people. They should, by telling them, well, we've got to get somebody young to come talk to you because you won't listen to anybody that's actually got any worldly experience. You're too simple for that. We've got to get a young face to come talk to you. I mean, thank God the anti-climate change movement just isn't very bright. They got boatloads of money, but they're just not very bright. But she's a problem. I mean, she is a problem. She's out there working, like I said, for the Trump campaign. She's got tremendous production quality. Her YouTube channel has tons of support. So every video she puts out, she pays to have it elevated, those kind of things. She is well funded and amplified on social media by people like Elon Musk. You can take the boy out of South Africa, but you can't take the South Africa out of the boy. Yeah. If you want to find a young influencer that will say the kind of things that the anti-climate change movement once said, you're kind of limited. You're kind of limited to a kind of person. And the people that fund that kind of thing kind of have an echo chamber. They do. They kind of have an echo chamber. They're kind of stuck with their own kind of people. And Naomi's site just really fits into that mold. She's got problems, folks. She does. She's got ties to white nationalists. She has ties to, she's from Germany. They wanted, remember, this has got to be the anti-Greta Thunberg, so they had to go get a young European girl. So, yeah, she has ties to white nationalists. And she's also spoken at several AFD party events. If you're a long time, if you're a regular here on the show, we did a show on the AFD and their recent electoral victories in Germany, in the state of Thuringia. If you watched it on Fox or any of the rest of the right-wing media, you would think that they had just taken over all of Germany, but no, it was a state election. Here's Thuringia. Let's go to the map. So we've got good information. This is Thuringia in Germany. For our European audience, you can fact check me on this. This is you can see the outline here. That is the German state of Thuringia. You'll notice something. You've got Munich down here, Hamburg over here, Berlin over here, the Czech Republic, Prague over here. You've got Cologne over here, Dusseldorf. Not much right here. Not much right here. How many of you have ever heard of Erfurt or Jena? These are the two major towns in Thuringia. Yeah, this is rural. This is rural. This is akin to running a global news program that, oh my God, the AfD, Alternative für Deutschland, Alternative for Germany party just had massive electoral wins in Alabama. I mean, it's really, it really was played on the global news like this was like some sort of massive movement by the right. It's like their equivalent of Alabama. So ask our European audience. They would, yeah, there's nothing there. I mean, folks, I mean, it's beautiful. Don't get me wrong. I'm not knocking the state of Thuringia, but it is not, But yeah, Naomi's site loves to speak at AFD events. Now, she's come out and she said, I'm not AFD, because AFD has problems now, and she's trying to make herself more appealing. AFD is run by a guy named Bjorn Hoka. He has a problem. He's been prosecuted before for, they've got anti-Nazi laws. He is a Nazi apologist, and he is constantly sane washing Nazism and trying to rewrite history, just like the Republicans do here. The right is the right everywhere, all over the world. If it's the right wing, they all do this shit. They try to rewrite history. They try to, that's who they are. And that's who she's associated with. But she's being elevated by Elon Musk on our social media. And she's well-funded, folks. She is. I am telling you, this is, and I want to apologize. I watched the last show. And I did have to cut a segment out of the last show. Univision's parent company had a fit that everybody was using the clip of the construction worker that took Trump to task. So yeah, they challenged everybody. I got a copyright strike in my last show. I had to go back and I had to edit that out and edit that. Remember the section with I had to cut that out. But yeah, you've got these people, and not just Naomi's side. And you can see she's here. She is here. She is campaigning. She is on the ground. She's doing what Donald Trump isn't. She is here talking to people on the ground on behalf of the Trump campaign. And she, like I said, is well funded. Her YouTube channel, I'm not going to lie, top notch. It is. She's got a studio. She's got great equipment, great sound equipment, great lighting. Her wardrobe is top notch. She's got travel budgets. Yeah, that's what we're up against, folks. That's what we're up against. And these corporations will tell you we can't tax them. I mean, they got money for that. Because I promise you, her money is not coming. You support me. She does not have that. She does not have that. She is well funded by people that are like-minded, that come from the same echo chambers as her, the people that run these corporations that tell you we can't tax them because, oh my God, they can't compete if we tax them, but they have millions of dollars. And I'm not picking on Naomi's side. I'm not, because she's far from the only one. They realize they've got a reality problem on the right. Reality has a liberal bias, folks. It just does. So they've decided to create their own. And they're going to fund stuff like this. And we've got to compete with it. Our community has to compete with that to get the message out. But like I've said before, you got the power of grandma. You got the power of mom. You got the power of dad. You've got the power of, you can get a hold of your kids and you can explain to them that Andrew Tate is a rapist. You can explain to them that he is a misogynist jerk and is not expressing what is a normal relationship. Please tell your daughters that. Please tell your daughters that is not normal. And yes, get a hold of your sons. You have that power. You have that power. But they are fighting really hard to create an entirely new reality that doesn't exist. And I'm telling you, they're having some success. Just a sec, put a pin in that. No Money G says, hi, Paul. A great new 1-hour doc you might like in your free time that just came out, Slice Doc on the YouTube channel. Putin and Trump, Russian influence in U.S. politics in 2024 election. There's a lot of good information. Thanks, Money G, for calling our attention to that, for calling the audience attention to that. There's a lot of good information out there. Jeanette Dahl says it was the same with some of our politicians here in Europe. Greta Thunberg brought out the worst in some of them. Yeah, she did. She really triggered them. She really did. And their own reaction amplified her and extended her fame. ET says, if you want to elevate Texas Paul, hit the like button and get him the 100K subscriber mark before the election. Amen. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you. Christine Pruitt says, thanks for being such an openly honest Southern white guy who obviously loves a diverse America. I do. Because the world is diverse. What is the point of hating the world as it is, man? I mean, I don't under that blows my mind. Just sidetrack for a second because of that great comment. What is the point of hating reality and trying to force it into something? I mean, that's just pain. That's all that is. It's just pain for a few people's comfort. They're going to shoehorn people into shoes that don't fit, boots that don't fit, to try to pretend reality isn't what reality is. Come on, man. I got a better idea. Let's just accept people for who they are and demand social norms. Just social norms. Everybody be good to everybody. Don't steal. Don't cheat. Don't screw kids. I mean, these aren't hard. I mean, it's just, and that's another one. Since we've taken a left turn here, every time something comes up on social media that has to do with the LGBTQ plus community, you get just inundated with people talking about from the right. I just don't have a problem with it. Keep it away from my kids. Well, nobody's going for your kids, but you keep saying that. And it's weird. Pardon my expression, but it's fucking weird. Because there ain't nobody, when somebody says, cisgendered couple, straight folks, I got a new boyfriend and I think he's great. Nobody is running up on their social media saying, well, you make sure you keep that sex away from them kids. It's weird, man. It's fucking weird. Nobody goes to a straight wedding and says, you stay away from them damn kids. What the hell, man? What the hell? I have said this before. I have gay people in my family. I know a couple gay people, and I know what their agenda is. Their agenda is to get a decent home, have a roof over their heads, safety, to love the person that they love, put a little money in the bank, to be able to send their kids to college if they decide to adopt kids or have kids through, in vitro fertilization, which is why the haters are attacking IVF. One of the reasons they're attacking IVF. But thank you for the comment. And I'm sorry for just taking a left turn there. We're going to get back to Elon Musk here. But that's how I feel about it. And I don't understand the other shit. I mean, that really just blows my mind because I spend a lot of time on social media, and the ones that think that they're being kind, the ones that think that they're just, they're being one of the good ones, always make that comment. Do what you want to do. Just keep it away from the kids. What the hell? What the hell? Every time I see a pedophile, it's a pastor or a cop. Yeah. Yeah, it's not some gay couple out there. It is. Thank you. Perfect. Amazing. Back to the show. Nancy, mind your own damn business. But yeah, not only are they funding, we find out Russia's been funding influencers, and the Republican Party's been amplifying these Russian influencers and Putin talking points. But you've got Elon Musk here and his America PAC handing out money. And people are just like, that's a crime. That is a crime. What this is about is he's got a petition, right? He's got a petition. It's just basically, it's nonsense. It's nonsense. Sign a petition that says you support the First Amendment and the Second Amendment, and we'll give you $100. That's how it started. Now he said, we're going to hold a lottery kind of thing. And if you sign the petition and you're a registered Pennsylvania voter, we'll give you $1 million if you win our lottery. And he did. He handed out $1 million to the first person. He said he's going to do $1 million a day. And people are screaming, that's a crime. You can't do that. He's got lawyers. The petition's nothing. See, when you're signing it, you're just participating in a political game. It's not really a petition to do anything. If it was a petition to get something on the ballot or a petition to actually do something within our government, that would be a crime. You can't. There are laws against that. Or if you were paying people to register or paying people to whatever, there would be laws. But he's, again, abusing the rules. And this is where I'm going with that. You see Gangster Kitty back there. And Dolly Parton's not allowed. I got a black shirt on. She's not allowed in the room today. She's not here. Dolly Parton is not here. That cat jumps in my lap. It'll look like a snowball. I get hit with a snowball. Poof. Black shirt day. Dolly, don't get in the room. But yeah. People are, I just want to clarify that. There's a big yell online that, hey, this is a crime. He can't do this. He can, because his petition is meaningless. It does nothing. It's literally just a ploy to get people to his propaganda. Just like he amplifies people like Naomi Site. And how does he get that information in front of him? It's his echo chamber. It's the people he associates with. Louis Coco says, music, we should only do paper ballots, hand counted. I'm a technologist. I know a lot about computers. The last thing I would do to trust is a computer program. But they ask us to trust our lives to a self-driving software. Yeah, I get it. I almost thought you were going somewhere crazy there for a minute. I was going to have to take you to task. But yeah, that's the message that Elon's putting out also. He's skirting a lawsuit from Dominion attacking computers. But here he is saying, I want to put an implant in your brain, a computer implant in your brain, and that's all good. And yeah, thanks for the comment. Yeah, it's insane. The message is insane. And it's a perfect segue to what I wanted to talk to you about. Chris Hayes had a great segment that I want everybody to go watch. E.T. and the right is going after those same kids, whole hog, get out to vote. Yeah, they are. They're really figuring out they got to keep your kids dumb, and they've got to keep them just like give them the mushroom treatment, keep them plowed over and blazed over with bullshit, and they have come out guns blazing into my arena. That is a big message. And I did want to apologize because I ended the show talking about this yesterday, and it didn't really come off like I wanted it to come off. I wanted you to see what I was talking about. This is really the fight that we have on our hand. I got to slug it out with Naomi Site. And everybody that does what I do, Midas, all the people that you follow, just you can throw their names out in the chat. I don't mind. People doing good work, give them a shout out. Hal Sparks, y'all know Christopher Titus. You got people out there doing great things. None of us are funded by Dixie Cups. None of us. We're all doing it on our own. You people are doing it. You people are doing it. But yet these corporations say they can't afford to be taxed. And you've got billionaires like Elon Musk willing to buy a social media platform to elevate these people, Look at all the great people they're talking about. And every one of those people are doing it on their own. None of them are paid, not even by the Democratic Party. Even me, I am openly hyper partisan Democrat. I'm not one of those people that are like, oh, well, I'll hedge my bets and say, no, I am all in on the Democratic Party. I am. But they don't pay me. Sons of bitches. Sorry. Now, I wouldn't turn down an ambassadorship to, say, Fiji or something for all my hard work, but, hey, that would be a quid pro quo. And I don't know that's not going to happen. Could you imagine me as an ambassador? Good Lord. But yeah, let's move on. I'm not going to beat that horse to death, but I wanted you to be aware of what is being fed to your right-wing family, who's paying for it, why are they so well-funded, why do they have so many followers? Because they pay for them. Tons of them are bots. I love Keith Olbermann. I do. I absolutely love Keith Olbermann. But yeah, guys, except for I don't like baseball. It's not that I don't like baseball. It just bores the shit out of me. It's like trying to watch golf. I can't do it. I've played golf before. I've played baseball before. But, I used to be on a softball team, but I can't watch it. I can't watch it. I just can't. So, yeah, let me show you this. I asked you folks to go to social media, post if you voted, shout out where you're from, et cetera, because it is really, really helping people. It is really showing people that they're doing the right thing and they're with good people. And I just want to just shout out here to Grandpa for getting it done.
Hey, Donald J., I got my mail-in ballot and I've got it filled out and I am voting for Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. Not you, old buddy. Hey, everybody, vote blue. Vote blue.
We're just over 2 weeks to the election, folks. We are. I'm telling you, how good that makes you feel. Do it. I'm asking you, do it. Get out on your social media, throw it out there, show your beautiful face. Say, hey, look, I'm voting. I did it. I'm voting. This is why. This is who I'm voting for. Let's get it done, man. So the people know, yeah, forget what, and I will tell you, the corporate media, they have to make this a horse race to the end. And folks, when you see election coverage, they're going to know a couple hours after the election, they're going to know by what vote totals are coming in from what districts. Trends are pretty easy to follow. But I promise you, every single network is going to drag this out for a day at least. They are not going to call that election in the first day. They just aren't. And they're going to push this narrative that it's a horse race, that it's close. I do not believe that. I don't get complacent on me, damn it. Don't you do it. But I think the work that we've done here and the work that others have done here, like, again, I can't call them out enough. Guys like Hal Sparks, folks over at Midas, the Mycellus brothers, you just listed off hundreds of people that are getting out there and getting it done. Thanks for the support. I really appreciate you. I really do. You guys fund it all. And this right here, this is another one. This is another one. I'm voting tomorrow here in Texas. I'm voting as soon as I possibly can, because this is what I'm doing on election day. I'm not going to sit around. I'm not going to do an election day coverage show until later on. I'm going to get out there. I'm going to go find me a local church here. I got my eye on one that looks like it's going to be a strong Democratic supporting church, and I am going to volunteer to drive people to the polls. I am. I'm going to volunteer to help people get to the polls. Right here, it's me. I help 5 people prepare their ballots. Amen. Amen. Be very careful. Be very careful how you do that, because like here in the state of Texas, my brother-in-law, my sister-in-law, whatever, they fill out their ballot. They cannot hand it to you to drop off at the post office for them. In the state of Texas, that's a crime. Yeah. Yeah, that's a crime here in the state of Texas, because they just don't want people voting. So they're limiting how you can help people. All right. There you go, my man. Charcoal Blanc says he's voting tomorrow too. He's voting tomorrow too. I love it. Love it. That's it. Don't you get complacent on me. Everything we're doing here is meaningless. The polls are meaningless. The social media, the getting the information out. Everything we do is completely meaningless compared to voting. Voting is it. All right. Voting tomorrow in Hawaii. There you go. There you go. Love it. Put it out on social media, folks, please. It really makes a difference. Thanks for the support, John. I appreciate you. You keep the lights on around here. Hopefully the studio lights, we're going to get enough in the bank to get us a whole studio here pretty soon. We're close. I'm going to vote on November 5th. I'm so excited. Good. A lot of people like to do that. A lot of people like to vote on election day. It makes them feel whatever works for you. I'm voting early so that I don't want anything to happen that I don't have a car wreck or something like that. I'm going to get my vote in. I was inspired by Jimmy Carter. You vote when you can, man. Jennifer Elizabeth says, I voted early yesterday and I'm still educating about Project 2025 on social media. For some reason, it wouldn't let me share the link in the super chat. Don't know. Don't get it. But look, just a little clarification, why we're working so hard and what we're doing. Operation Let the Dumbass Talk. And stick with me, folks. We're not going to do a lot of Trump. I'm not. I just can't listen to this man talk. I just can't do it. But he did say this.
Like has happened. And Bibi called me today and he said, it's incredible what's happened. They said, it's pretty incredible. But he wouldn't listen to Biden, because if he did, they wouldn't be in this position. And she's worse than him. She's not as smart as him. And I'm not saying he's the smartest.
Blah, 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 blah. Yeah. He is still talking. He's still working to undermine our government. He's still working with Benjamin Netanyahu. You know me. I support Israel. I strongly support Israel. I do. And I think Benjamin Netanyahu is the worst thing that ever happened. He is the Donald Trump of Israel. He is the worst thing that has ever happened to Israel. And he doesn't care how many people die, as long as he stays out of jail and he stays in power. And you've got Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu that are just, they want to make the world burn. They want to make it. And we're going to talk a little bit about Ukraine near the end of the show. Stick with me. We're going to talk more about this. New Kid, thank you for the support. Appreciate you. Here in Oregon, ballots being delivered and male spousal unit. And I love that male spousal unit. And I are voting today. Good. Glad to hear it. Let people know. Let people know. Be loud. Be proud. It makes a difference. Bandwagon effect is real, people. It is real. But yeah, there was, it wasn't all bad. You had Saturday Night Live on their weekend update. They did some amazing takedowns here. This is good. You're going to enjoy this. You're going to enjoy this. Well, yeah. These are not old takes. These are really how they're wrapping up their campaign. Really. I'm not even kidding. That clip of Donald Trump was just from yesterday, telling women, "Go get that fat bastard off the couch." Yeah, that's how he talks to people. And yeah, that's his new thing. We've gone from Hannibal Lecter to Harvey Weinstein. Harvey Weinstein got schlonged. He got, you got him, who's been adjudicated a rapist, Donald Trump, and been adjudicated a rapist. And you've got Harvey Weinstein. And he thinks Harvey Weinstein is the victim. That's the argument he's closing out with. We got a good bit here. Alec Baldwin was back on Saturday Night Live. He played Brett Baer. It was really good takedown of the Brett Baer interview. That really did not work out like they had hoped. I got to tell you, I see Pete Buttigieg and Kamala Harris and people going on Fox, and I don't support it. I really don't. People always make the argument, "Oh man, you got to reach out to them people. You got to, you got." And I've always argued, no, you don't. No, you don't. We outnumber them. We have to focus on getting our people out. That's got to be our focus. Get our people to the polls. Screw those people. These are not good people. Colin Allred and I sat down and had a conversation, and that's one of the things I told him. He says, "Man, look, please don't run one of those campaigns where you're running Republican light. Do not try to reach out to Republicans, because they're not sitting there thinking to themselves, I really want to hear what that old Colin Allred has to say." No, they're sitting there breathlessly on their social media, on their phone, waiting to be told by Republicans why to hate you. And I still believe that to this day. But I will tell you, I am more than happy to say when I am wrong about something and be corrected. I was not excited about Kamala Harris going on Fox News because I knew they were going to treat her exactly like they treated her. But oh my God, the job she did with Brett Baer. And it's actually made inroads with Republicans. And it was so bad that they're actually making, here, let me run the clip for you. They're actually, comedians are making fun of it. It was so blatantly obvious and bad. Saturday Night Live is back, baby. They are doing a great job. They're doing a great job. I got to tell you, but a lot of years that Saturday Night Live just sucked. But don't copyright strike me, God dog it. You're doing a great job. It's a commercial for you. I am telling people, go watch Saturday Night Live. They are nailing it. But they're nailing it because Kamala Harris nailed it. She absolutely did an amazing job in that interview. And it looked so clownishly obvious what they were trying to do. And I want to wrap that up with the first segment. MAGA and Republicans keep changing our country, but they keep changing it for the worse. Could you imagine? A lot of you folks have been around politics for a while. You are an accomplished audience. You have experience. You know things, and you know what I'm about to say is 100% true. 10 years ago, if any supporter, any billionaire had gone out and said, "I'm going to cut you checks if you support what I want you to support," that would have been suicide. That would have been political suicide. We would have been so damn offended by that. And there was also a time not that long ago that somebody doing that overt of a hit job, so desperately trying to get a talking point out of a candidate, disrespecting a vice president for one thing. I don't care if you don't like Kamala Harris, that's your own personal crap. But she's the vice president of the United States. And when you interview her, you treat her as the vice president of the United States. That doesn't mean you can't disagree with her, but you do not try to talk over her. That is disrespecting my country. And it was so clownish trying to get her to say something bad. He tried and tried and tried. Please say something bad about Republicans. Please say something bad about Republican voters. That is on my list to do what I needed to get out of you. Please. That would have been it. Not today. Not today, because they've changed our country. They've changed our country for the worse. And I beat this drum constantly. They're doing it because they only have a certain talent pool to pull from. They're whores that will say and do anything that these corporations want to create their own new reality. And it's changed us. I mean, think about that. Now, think about this. Think about if a presidential candidate had done this. I've seen a couple of people, you mentioned it in the chat already. I love how you folks are always ahead of the program. I cannot tell you how much I respect that.
Oh, man. This man was strong and tough. And I refuse to say it, but when he took showers with the other pros, they came out of there, they said, oh my God, that's unbelievable. I had to say it. I had to say it. We have women that are highly sophisticated here, but they used to look at Arnold as a bad, but he was really all.
He's talking about Arnold Palmer. Arnold Palmer, the golfer. This guy. He's talking about showering with Arnold Palmer and how other pros used to shower with Arnold Palmer and get out of the shower and talk about the size of his penis. Okay. First of all, no. Men don't do that. We don't do that. No, we do not take showers and look at other guys' penises. We don't. That's against the rules. That will get your man card revoked. You don't do that. And you damn sure don't get out of the shower and talk about in the locker room, wow, that guy's hung like a bear. No, those conversations don't happen. Yeah, Miss Gardenia, more locker room talk as in made up crap. He is a president. He's closing his campaign. And he's in Pennsylvania, a swing state, and this is where he's at. And yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. It's because everybody made fun of his little mushroom penis. The lady that's seen it told us mushroom. But yeah, I mean, first of all, no, Arnold Palmer never exuded BDE. He didn't. If you don't know what BDE, somebody explain it. I'm not going to say it. I'm on the edge as it is. No, everything he sold. You saw that picture of him pushing Pennzoil. His whole shtick was, I'm a nice guy. It was. I'm very middle of the road. I'm very mellow. Everybody likes me. The guy had flaws. He did. Arnold Palmer was not a perfect guy, but that was not what he was selling. No, just the opposite. He was selling very Tim Walz energy in his advertisements. He was selling, do your maintenance on your tractor and it'll last forever. Remember his tractor, Arnold Palmer? Come on, some of you folks are as old as I am. Y'all remember Arnold Palmer's tractor, his old tractor that was still running because he changed his oil with Pennzoil. That's what he was selling. And then you've got Donald Trump. I mean, come on, man. Really, people? This isn't. I mean, could you imagine Kamala Harris talking about anyone? Oh yeah, we were down at the club taking a shower and we were looking at so and so's titties. We were. She got the big boobs, man. Woo! Everybody got out of there. We were talking in the locker room, telling off. Look at the size of her boobies. No. Do you know how fast that would end Kamala Harris's presidential aspirations? Leland Rogers, it's called disinhibition. Problem with dementia. You have no filters on what you say. Yes. 100. Thank you for making that comment. I wasn't going to go there. I love you people. I do. I love you for keeping the show on track. I appreciate the support. I really do. Thanks for the support, my man. I appreciate you. But yeah, true. That is a problem with people that have dementia that are still functioning, is that they lose their filter and they will say anything. They will. So yeah, when he's out at us, why do you think they're canceling interviews left and right at the end of the campaign when he needs to be sealing the deal? But hey, the corporate media needs you glued to that screen and scared. They need you watching all night on election day and the next day, because they've figured out they can stretch this. Guys, if you just vote, it ain't even close. It isn't. It isn't. If you just vote, Courtney, thank you. If you just vote, it's not even close. It's all about turnout. I mean, there really is no, we've got this. And it's important, folks, because I want to end the show talking about Ukraine. We have seen a major escalation in Ukraine. North Korean troops in the Ukraine war called huge escalation risk. South Korea's intelligence has alerted the world, and we have verified it, that North Korean troops, and I mean not just their shitty underfed, we got 1 million man army. Yeah, no, you don't. No, you don't. You got 1 million people in uniform, but that ain't an army. No, they're very well-trained shock troops. Were picked up by a Russian boat. South Korean intelligence caught it all. They just laid the evidence out for the entire world. These troops were loaded on a boat. They were taken to Vladivostok in eastern Russia. If y'all want to know where Vladivostok is, I'll go to the map and show you, but they were taken to Vladivostok in eastern Russia. These guys were issued Russian military uniforms and fake papers. Siberian folks in the Siberian steppes look very similar to the folks in the Korean Peninsula. So they issued them papers, false papers, to say they're Russians, and they are putting them out on the battlefield. This is a big deal, folks. This is a big deal. This is an expansion of the Ukraine war. There's no two ways to put it. This is what Putin does. This is what Iran does. I mean, look at the Houthis. The Houthis just got destroyed by Saudi Arabia. It was to the point where there was just no point in just attacking them anymore. They were just fighting to fight's sake. You know, they were just hurting civilians. So the Saudis were like, okay, we're done. You know, it's like they were like, get off them, man, they're dead. So what did the Houthis do? Iran did. They started attacking shipping, an escalation. October 7th was meant to be an escalation. In Syria, same thing. Everything Putin and Iran are involved in, you get this kind of escalation because it's one of two things happens to serve their interests. They're not going to lose. They're totalitarians. They're not going to lose. They've got nothing on the line. But in democratic countries, in Europe, in America, and other, across the world, where people get to vote, it's one of two choices. It's either an escalation, which this will be, or people just say, we're done with this. We don't want war. We don't want, and they vote against the people. You know, you get this resurgence of the right wing that are screaming, oh, us first, not them, us first, screw them. Not looking at the big picture and how if everybody abandons Ukraine, this ends up in a bloody war across Europe. So there's really no downside to this escalation. So they're going to do it, folks. They are. You're going to start seeing North Korean troops in Ukraine. You've got folks that show the videos that show from the front lines. The Ukrainians have been screaming forever, untie our hands, give us more weapons. We'll do the fighting. We're not asking you to come fight here. That's going to change. And we need to talk about what that change is going to be. Paulette Tansa, the first time commenter. Thank you. Glad to have you. Thank you for the support. I really appreciate you. I really do. You're the one that funds this and allows this to happen. Can't wait to early vote on Thursday in Maryland. Thank you, Texas Paul. We appreciate you. I appreciate you. We're doing this. I really appreciate you. Colleen Sarah, the Koreans got a one-way flight. The promised 2K goes directly to the Kim family, not their families. Yeah. This is not going to be good for the North Korean troops that are there. Turns out that Joe got Putin to back down from using tactical nukes. Yeah, we talked a little bit about that. It's worth talking about again. Sharon Reddy is the only place I'll say this. The election will be a 54-43 Harris. 3 red states will flip. Trump will be judged too far gone to imprison. Maybe. Barb Hines, thanks for the support. But yeah, it came out that Russians we had good intelligence that they were moving tactical nuclear weapons to use in Ukraine, and Joe Biden sent a very clear message to Putin that if you start utilizing nukes in Ukraine, that is nuclear war. And then what happened? All the paid influencers on the right wing, all over social media, when nobody knew that conversation happened, right? That was private. Nobody knew. Joe Biden didn't have a lot of bravado. He didn't come out like Trump and say, yeah, I straightened him out. I'm tough. I talked shit to Putin. No, they did that privately. Government, good government. What was going on the right wing? All the paid influencers are on the right. We're looking at World War III. Well, yeah, we actually were pretty damn close. But nobody on our side knew that. How did they? Because they're paid by Russia. They were paid by Russia. And if you don't know exactly what I'm talking about, Lloyd Austin had a conversation with Sergei Shoigu. Thank you, Katie Carroll. I appreciate you. Glad to see you here. I hope you're feeling 100%. Glad to see you here. I can't stress this enough. Lloyd Austin, Sergei Shoigu, Lloyd Austin called him and said, do not use tactical nuclear weapons. Do not do it. It will be the end of Russia, period. And Sergei Shoigu said, I don't like being threatened. And Lloyd Austin told him, I am the head of the most powerful military that has ever existed on this planet. I do not threaten. While that was happening, the right wing was pushing Putin's talking points, who desperately wanted to make everybody scared and believe we were headed towards World War III. This is the same thing, folks. This is the same thing. They're escalating again. They're bringing in another nation's army to fight on the ground in Ukraine. Folks, I cannot stress this enough. The Polish people are warriors. They have been warriors their entire existence. They are a strong people. People disparage the Polish because how badly they did against the Germans. That was a technological issue. That wasn't a bravery issue. If you look at the long term, the Polish, for instance, their pilots were fighting. They were fighting BF-109s with biplanes, folks. Old World War I biplanes, and they were fighting, man. And when they got shot down, they jumped ships and went to England, and England trained them and put them in Spitfires. And one of the most decorated, successful units, aviation units in World War II were the Poles. They were. They fought like freaking robots, man. And I am telling you, Poland has told us, the private conversations that people aren't privy to and stuff like that. This one has been shared with me from a politician, and I will tell you, the Poles have told us they are not going to fight Russia in Poland. They are going to fight Russia in Ukraine. And this is the kind of escalation we're looking at. Democracy, I love that. Meow. Putin said paid Kim for troops to throw in front of bullets. Kim usually kills his own people for free, so selling them instead of is just profitable. He's not sending his best. He's sending people who are starving. Not true. Not true. Some of the troops that he have sent are they're well-equipped, well-trained special forces. They do have a core. It's like most of Iraq's army was garbage. It was. But there was a core group that we respected. That had good equipment. These are the people they're sending to Ukraine. They are. And that's why Putin's paying for them. The Ukrainians have a fight on their hands, people. They really do. And all they're asking is for us to untie their hands. And I get it. Yeah, exactly, Tim. The choice is Harris or Putin. Vote for Harris. Exactly. Exactly where I'm going. Y'all are always ahead of the curve. Sally S., Blue Dot, and Red States United. Amen. Okay. I'm going to wrap this up so we can do our roundtable. I've been talking for well over an hour now, and folks, I want to hear what you have to say and think. This escalation is going to be exactly that. It's going to require a response on behalf of Europe primarily and us. It is. The Ukrainian war just changed. We now have another nation fighting on the ground in Ukraine. That will change the reality of things on the ground. You may see Poland enter this war at this point. We have been begging them not to. They have been warning us. One missile, one anything. They are looking for their Gulf of Tonkin incident. They want in this war. Finland, a wonderfully peaceful people, have been very clear. They are not going to, this is not going to be World War II again. If they fight, they're going to fight in Russia. I mean, it's sicko. Thanks for telling everybody. Alaska, Arkansas, Colorado, Connecticut, Idaho, South Carolina, and Texas. Early voting all starts tomorrow. I will be voting tomorrow. So yeah, when we have this election, you got the guy that's talking about Arnold Schwarzenegger's schlong, to use his terminology, and Harvey Weinstein got screwed versus the smart lady, the prosecutor, the professional, the intelligent person, the person with experience on the world stage that is not idiotic. Exactly. And I assure you, despite what they try to sell, a vote for Trump is not just a vote for capitulation. They are already working in Moldova. Russia's already laying the groundwork for an invasion of Moldova. They're already working to move back down to Romania. Folks, a vote for Donald Trump is literally a vote for World War III, a bloody, prolonged fight in Europe. Or you can vote for the people that are consistently pushing. You can undercut the hard right wing in Israel, the Netanyahus, the Itamar Ben-Gvirs. You can send the message, war is awful. We need to come up with a smart way out of this. And that's what I've got for you today, folks. Thank you for being here. Thanks for watching the show. Anything that I didn't cover or a subject you'd like to talk about, pretty please throw it in the comments. The show is yours. The floor is yours. And thanks for ordering so many Tuck Front cups. You guys have just been ordering these by the droves, and I'm glad. Thank you. I appreciate you doing it. Oh, and I do want to ask you, how do you like this is we just changed cups. Same size, same amount of beverage. We just changed cups. The new cups have a slightly thicker handle. The bottom is beveled. So I've noticed a couple of my cups have a little chip down here if I'm not careful. But how are you liking the new cups? A little bit thicker, a little bit hardier cup. It's slightly heavier, slightly thicker wall, so it's a little bigger. No, I don't. If we show up, if we vote, and I know that sounds counterintuitive. Do you think the race is tied? What you're asking me is, do I think the result is close? No, it's not. It's not. As long as people understand and get out there and vote. What heartens me is how much information. It's like everybody and their brothers, where's Putin's caravan? It's 2 weeks to the election. We're waiting for that damn caravan, waiting for that spike in gas prices. We telegraphed all of it. We've called them out on all of it. So that when it happens, and it happened, we created Sarah. All of the things that we saw, the attacks that we knew were coming. And their candidate, Trump, has just fallen apart. He has been on a downhill slope forever. He has fallen apart. They're literally having to cancel interviews. Major interviews. I mean, you're talking about free press, free primetime coverage, and he's canceling. He's canceled with the NRA. The NRA, talk about a friendly group, man. They had a whole rally, the NRA paid for. He ain't going. Neuropilot says General Budanov secretly, quote, stole nuclear material from Belarus, and General Austin is a brilliant guy. Budanov, if y'all don't, I've shown you his picture a few times on the show. And I mean, that is one serious guy. He is very, very accomplished. He runs Ukraine's military intelligence. That dude smiled the other day, and it made international news. That is one serious dude. Don't dance on a pole. Walls to the ballot box. Yeah, waltz to the ballot box. Amen. And we thought we were going to have a Bernie Biden. They're doing that to Trump. Yeah. Yeah. None of it's working. None of the crap they're throwing at the wall is sticking, folks. None of it. So yeah, when you ask me, let me finish up that question. Do I think that we're tied? No, not even close. I think we're on pace to have a historic victory. Now we do have some areas that are a real problem. Let me pull this up. This race right here is going to be a challenge. Tester versus Sheehy. But again, they can only pull a candidate pool from a certain kind of people. And this is a Minnesota guy who's made a lot of money, who can't win in Minnesota. So he went to, he jumped over to Montana to run, where he thinks he has a shot. He's a former SEAL. 1 second. Let me see if I can get you a better picture. But he's got problems too. He's got a loose relationship with the truth. There you go. That's a good one. That's Tim Sheehy on the left and John Tester on the right. John Tester's he's in a real brawl. He really is, man. This one's going to be close. This is going to be a massive turnout election. But Tim Sheehy here, yeah, he's one of those people that he's just got a very loose relationship with the truth, to say he's a liar. He is. He claimed he got shot in Afghanistan. Turns out he shot himself here. And the park ranger that investigated it went and saw him in the hospital, has come out and said, no, that bullet wound he keeps showing to say he was wounded in Afghanistan. No, that didn't happen there. He handed me the pistol with the round in it, the fired round in it, and told me that he accidentally shot himself. There's a whole investigation about this, but he's been running around telling people, oh yeah, I was shot in the arm in Afghanistan. Dude, why? Why did you do that? Why did you? And I'm glad he did. Don't get me wrong. Tester's a much better guy, but this guy is a Navy SEAL. He is decorated. It's this whole thing that they keep doing. It's like a Chris Kyle thing. You just couldn't, serving wasn't enough. He had to make up this fake ass, and we have canceled people for far, far less. You remember the whole Brian Williams dust up? Y'all remember that? They fired Brian Williams. Yes, he's really a former SEAL. He is. He really is. But he had to lie, embellish. It couldn't just be enough that he was a SEAL. He had to be a liar. That's who he is. Brian Williams was covering Iraq. And he was flying out to see, they were going to do some coverage out in the field. And it was dangerous. So the way that works is they send a group of soldiers ahead of time. They're all flying out in Chinook helicopters, right? There's 4 of them. The first 3 are loaded with soldiers. and equipment so they can fly in advance and they can secure the area because they're going to bring in the press and they're going to bring in photographers and people to shoot video and stuff like that, right? So the first 3 take off and they're about an hour ahead to give them time to secure the area. Brian Williams is in the helicopter. Well, the helicopters in the front that were carrying the soldiers got shot at. They took fire. One of them had to go down in an emergency landing. Right? So when Brian Williams tells the story, he says the helicopter we were in got shot at. And he tells it as though he was in that helicopter, when it was really just a helicopter that was part of their group. Right? He didn't lie about the event. He didn't lie where it happened. It really happened. Those helicopters did take fire. They were part of their group. But we canceled him because it wasn't 100% accurate. He got fired. He lost his job. Here you got Tim Sheehy claiming he got shot in Afghanistan when he shot himself in a park. Shot himself in a park. That should be it. That should be it. This guy wants to be a senator. No. You got a senator in Montana, but it's close, man. That's going to be a brawl. That's going to be one I'm watching very closely on election day. I mean, Tester is in a fight of his life over there. Linda Corcoran says, take the passports of Trump and his family. Trump will flee to Russia or any other Trump-friendly country when he loses. He will disclose more of our national security secrets to the highest bidder. I absolutely believe this to be true. I absolutely believe that. I've said it before. I've stuck my neck out. People say I'm crazy, and I'll take that and I'll eat it if it doesn't happen. But I think when Trump loses this election, what's going to happen is he is going to book a flight on a Russia-friendly private charter, and he's going to tell, and everybody keeps saying, well, Secret Service will stop him and this, that, and that. No, it doesn't work that way. When you're a former president, you can tell Secret Service anytime you want, piss off. I don't want your protection. That is something that's given to you as a courtesy. It's not there. They're not there. They don't control the president ever. They don't control the president. And I think he will take a flight to, like you say, I've said it before, it'll be to Cuba or Venezuela or something like that. And then he'll move on to another country out in the Caucasus or something like that and live out the rest of his miserable short life. But yeah, I think he's going to run. I think the grift is going to dry up after he loses this next election. The spell will be broken. The Republican Party will turn hard against him because they're going to try to phoenix themselves. But I'm telling you, they need to go. I've said this before, and I've said it again. There's nothing redeemable about the Republican Party. Before Trump got here, we had Newt Gingrich. We had Denny Hastert. Denny Hastert was the Republican Speaker of the House of Representatives, and he raped boys. Let me say that again. Dennis Hastert was the Republican Speaker of the House, and he raped boys. He was convicted of it. He went to jail for it. The Republican Party, that was the Republican Party before Trump. It needs to go. It needs to go. All right, folks. I love spending time with you. I love doing these shows with you. I hope you found what I've done here valuable. Share it. Let's get up over 100,000 because this is my plan. People have asked me, I keep getting emails, and y'all have asked me in the chat comment, what about after the election? What are you going to do after the election? Let me see my ride or die Democrats, please. Hearts and skulls. Let me see my ride or die Democrats. And I want to remind everybody, I'm the founder of the Ride or Die Democrat movement. There's no sign-up fee. There's no membership paperwork to fill out. It is an ideology, and it's really simple. The Democratic Party is a big tent. You fight for who you believe in. You fight for what you believe in. And you work your ass off in the primaries to get your people put forward. But when that primary is over, you understand the Democratic Party is the only real functioning party. We're the only real big tent. We're the only party that allows dissenting voices within it. We don't call people dinos like they call people rhinos. We are the way forward. So when that primary is over, if my guy wins and your guy, you've got a different person with a different view, and my guy wins, you walk in the booth and you pull the lever for my guy. And we win that election together. There's no fracturing, no breaking us up. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to accept where my guy's at. You don't. And this is what I'm talking about, what I'm going to do after the election. I think we're going to win. But I'm going to tell you, I have always told you the truth. I'm going to continue to tell you the truth. Kamala Harris will be an exceptional president. Kamala Harris and I are in different places politically because I'm one of those weirdos that lives in reality. On some things, I am more liberal than she is. I think we need to tear down that wall, take all the steel, reuse it to build bus stations because we are an aging nation and we need immigrants. And brown people don't scare me. They don't scare me. We need to fix our immigration system to make sure that the people that are coming in are just people that want to live a good life, that are people that won't be a burden to our society, that will contribute. Good people to live the American dream. You know, people that, like right now, today, we have people in our military serving our country, fighting and dying for our country that we have not blessed with citizenship. And to me, that is a crime. That is a crime. What could be more American than fighting and dying for our country? Hell, they didn't even do that to my people. My Irish heritage, when they would come off the boat, they would say, hand them a rifle and a uniform and say, you want to be an American? You're in the army. And then you were an American. We're deporting people that served. That's gross to me. I am a little bit far left of my party on that issue. But I do believe that we need to fix our court systems. We need to fix our vetting processes. We need to update, all of the technology we have in our embassies, in our consulates, so that we can actually vet people and do background checks on people and utilize modern technology to do the job right. On some things, I'm a little bit more conservative. I don't give a shit about your guns. I don't care what guns you have. I don't. I really don't. I don't think if I take you people that are good and decent people and I put an AK-47 in your lap, that you're suddenly going to become a bad person. That gun's going to suddenly somehow influence you and turn you into. I don't believe any of that. I don't give a damn if you got an Abrams tank. So I'm a little to the right of my party on that issue. I believe that it's speech is the problem. I do. I think we need to take a look at the First Amendment. I think we need to take a look at several of our amendments and update them. I do. I'm a little bit to the left of my party on that issue. Because the problem isn't that somebody had a gun. The problem is it's that rhetoric, that craziness, the insanity, where these people talk about shooting their fellow countrymen. They talk about violence as an answer. They talk about this world that doesn't really exist. They've got to walk around armed at Walmart because, might be something going down, which is the rarest freaking unicorn in the world. We need to really start looking at expanding that whole you can't yell fire in a movie theater thing to apply to a lot of the disinformation and misinformation. You can't just go online and lie to people and tell people that vaccines have chips in them that are going to control your mind when we're trying desperately to get people vaccinated to stop a global pandemic. I don't think that should be legal protected speech. That is what Elon Musk is trying to protect, is the propaganda that he and his billionaire class pay for to try to create this false reality that doesn't exist. So where I'm going with this is on just a couple of issues for examples. Where I'm going with this is what I'm going to do after the election. I'm going to take a rope. I'm going to tie it around the Democratic Party. I'm going to grab a hold of it. I'm going to dig my heels in. I'm going to pull as hard freaking left as I can. Because globally, the Democratic Party, if you put it on a spectrum of governments around the world, the Republican Party is a fringe right radical party. The Democratic Party is a center-right party. If this was Europe, the Democratic Party would be to the right of most governments in Europe. We have to correct that. It's called the Overton window. It's what's acceptable anyways, I don't want to go into that. We need to move left. We need to move the conversation left. We need to talk about what's acceptable and what's real. That's what I'm going to do after the election. I'm going to continue working to change the narrative. Mr. Knudsen, lying and propaganda should be illegal. It should. We have way too many, this feeling about free speech that it's okay to hurt people. Silly boo-boo, Bee-boo says, one of my mottos is don't be a posterior orifice. That's a great way to say it. And thank you for supporting the show. But yeah, folks, that's what I'm going to do. Thank you for the support. Thanks for making it happen. We're really close. We're going to get us a studio. We're going to upgrade our equipment. Right now, my camera is a little slow. It's a great camera. It's a 4K camera, but it's a little slow. We're going to come up with something a little bit better. We're going to beef up the computer systems we run our streaming through. And I am going to go to work on my party after we have a tremendous victory on making it serve the American people better. And with that, enjoy some Texas cities at night.